Let's go. Let's do it.
And go with the introduction like,
Hi.
hello, everyone. Uh, welcome back to Behind the Rolls. We are doing the recap today for episode 21 and 22 because both Light and I were not feeling well. And I'm still like, I don't know, 95% of the way there. But a lot better than I was. So today we have, as per usual, our lovely DM Light. And we have one of our players as a guest, Euphemia, aka Spelsy. Welcome. You're going to help us go over the events of yesterday's. We need you here for emotional support.
I think you need to. No, she's here for your emotional support.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to emotionally support each other because yesterday was rough. But
have you changed the stream? Because it still says the starting soon screen.
No, because I was just doing the intro thing.
Okay.
Look, I added the minis and stuff. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
I was gonna put like the minis of everyone on the table, but Spelsy is needed for very important duties. Oh yeah? Nah.
Look, Pop-Tart.
You are far less important than we are.
I invited you to play. You could have been here too. But it's fine.
Yeah, you totally could have been a part of our fucking shenanigans.
Oh god, that would have been chaotic. You think just Victor's chaotic? So what I was thinking about doing was I was gonna like put all the minis and then like the people that aren't here, I would have just like flipped them sideways. Like they just knocked over.
That's cool.
Or just put them in the background. But yeah, so episode 21 will probably be kind of a quick recap because it wasn't super eventful. It was more like we were killing time, making money, making gold.
It was the shopping episode.
Yeah, it was a prep. Please take Naughty. She is driving. No, one season with her was enough for me. Thank you. So we started off by going to the dinner that we had scheduled prior, and that was very nice. We
totally didn't tell Victor why.
I was so like at the edge of my seat that this lady was going to be like, I'm still surprised you guys didn't want to get paid. And I would have been like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Wow.
But it didn't happen.
It almost. I don't know. I might have said it a little bit too fast. I kind of slipped something in there, and all of a sudden she stopped because something happened in the kitchen, I think. So yeah.
I
was ready for it because Victor was gonna flip. Like, why do we keep not taking money?
Because get the money.
Because we're good people, Victor. Damn it. I say we with an asterisk. And good with an asterisk as well.
We're decent people.
We're decent people. And then after that, we talked about all the things that we were going to do, and Victor had a failed attempt to get blood. But I mean, Voren did warn him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he took Voren's warning seriously.
Not as serious.
But I wanted him to know that the Thieves Guild here does more than the guards do. And now in yesterday's episode, the fact that he wrote a letter to the Lord and Lady, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fucking great, man.
We'll get to that later. But yes.
But yeah, I I'm so entertained by Victor and his Karen moments.
So basically, what during that moment, Euphemia and him went out for him to go hunting. He did say it. He did say it in a space. There was nothing to be said. Oh, we are whispering. I'm just going to say that. So it was said in a space.
I thought it was said in the room.
No, you guys were walking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was trying to be nonchalant, and then that might have been my bad.
Yeah. But I mean, it's okay. The one thing is with D&D, you need to mention, hey, I'm actually whispering. I need to say this because there's always eyes and ears listening about. Anyways.
But it was also supposed to be a quiet time, right? Like not a lot of people and stuff like that. So I get why he wouldn't really think about mentioning it, but still.
Because you never know. And then one thing is in this town, there's always eyes and ears. Because I mean there's a reason behind which I'm not saying what it is, but the one thing is he had a plan. It was an excellent plan. And he made Euphemia invisible while he used a spell to disguise himself as a not a knight, but
It was
somebody
guard.
like a guard, right? Kind of patrolling and basically saying, who can I see going down the alley? And he spotted somebody. And then he said that he wanted to charm that person, which as the person turned around, couldn't see their face, just know it was a female. And eventually they did reveal themselves and, she's an elf and elves have advantage of being charmed.
I don't think they can't be charmed. I don't think.
It's an advantage.
Oh, I thought it was charmed.
It's new rules.
Oh, you're using the new one?
I'm going back and forth.
Oh, I'm still just going off of the 5th edition rules, not the 2024 one.
Shit, I don't even know. For me, it's like, hey, DM, what are we doing? Because it's so hard to keep up with.
They're not, not necessarily. I think it's always been an advantage. Because I know that, you know what, my friend, he was a DM, he played hard roles, so yeah. But either or, she was an elf. And basically, do you want to go ahead and summon up who she is, M. Night?
So, what I told Victor later on was that because he was really upset, he's like, out of everyone that I could have ran into, I ran into her. And Voren said, you didn't run into her. She ran into you. Like, the reason you found her is because she found you first. And I don't think that he's thinking about that. He just thinks that he got unlucky by finding somebody he shouldn't have. And that's not it. It's the fact that if she found him, it's because she had been watching him the whole time. Which she does with Voren all the time. And part of me wishes that he would have asked a bit more when Voren said, if there is a lot of crime, we're not doing our job. Victor didn't question that at all. And I don't know what he really took it as, but what Voren was trying to say is the Thieves Guild controls the streets pretty much, and whether it's some sort of like agreement we have, whether it's beneficial to the city, nobody knows yet, right?
Correct.
But we have a huge influence, and there's peace. So Victor ran into Silvara, which pretty much, I wouldn't say raised, because she's she's older, but she's not like old enough to be Vaughn mom. But she is older, and she kind of helped Vaughn grow up. She found him as a child, and she took him into the Thieves Guild. A lot.
She's the rough, cool auntie.
Yeah, she's the rough, cool. Exactly. She found him in an alley trying to steal, and she was like, you're good, but you could be better. And ever since then, she's taken him under her arm and part of Thieves Guild, and he found a family. That's his family. But she, even back then, she did everything better than he thought he was good at. Sneaking around, stealing, being stealthy, or the sleight of hand. She was way better. Out of experience, I guess, or whatever. But and now she's the head of the Thieves Guild. So it was just if he would have asked a couple more questions, maybe he would have avoided that. But it's DnD. Shit happens.
Yeah.
RP happens.
And the one thing is, he doesn't know that she's the head of the guild. He just knows that this woman just stopped me because he was getting ready to misty step, and she basically stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he did ask if there was a roll. There's no roll. Basically, it's Mage Slayer feat, which I should have said, and that's my fault. I should have said she smacked him or hit him with, a dagger, but it would have been non-lethal. And that's how Mage Slayer feat works. When you hit somebody that's a caster, it basically stops them. Stops casting whatever. And so that's what happened. It stopped casting. And she didn't attack him other than that. She just says, not in my streets. Just not in my streets. And then he, proceeds to say, well, I'm, blah, blah, blah. It's like, the one thing is, she knows everybody in that town. And so it's one of those things. It's like, and he could have asked, he could have questioned it in his head later, but you're right. I mean, he could have asked you. He could ask, what happened to him. Is it a good idea for me to do this? It's all the what if questions, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it has to do a lot with his character as well, right? Like, the way he was raised and the environment that he is used to. Questioning things like that probably is not second nature to him. But like, I think even then, if he had told Sylvie, don't call her that, anyone, but if he had told Sylvie, so where can I? Maybe she would have told him. But that's not Victor's style. And
that's why, like, when he was just kind of upset and was still trying to help him, but also kind of keep an eye on him, was that going back to the door that they found. Maybe that's because maybe Euphemia doesn't fully know if that's a place for him, but it's worth a shot to look.
Yeah. And and who knows what would have been in there, right? He said he wanted the hunt. And like, maybe it was a sit-down tavern that they give him blood, or maybe it was some sort of dungeon where he can hunt down people. Like, you don't know unless you check.
And I was really curious to see what was in there.
Me too. I'm still curious.
I'm very curious of what's in there.
Because, I mean, as much as Vaughn's been around, he probably wouldn't be in a place like that ever or questioned it.
No.
And Euphemia has heard of, like, the vampire dens and stuff, but she's never been one. So, her curiosity on that part.
Yeah. So he went back to the room. He was pissed off. Even then, Vaughn was like, all right, let's go out of town. But he wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, understandably so. He kind of got embarrassed, and he was pissed off. Which, to, like, that type of character, is completely natural. So then after that, we all started taking random jobs at things that we
Before that, Vaughn and Celeste had their little adventure.
Oh yes, we
their
went to the temple.
date.
Yeah.
the
They
visit to
they kind of
the
had a little
temple.
confrontation.
We're not going to talk about that.
But it's part of the recap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Born's like, all right, well, let's take the rooftops because it's quicker. That's usually his mean of traveling, or either that or underground. But nobody really like speaks about like the underground tunnels and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So mostly is very Assassin's Creed style, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, parkour, hardcore. And so he got up there with ease, and then she's showing off and just kind of like walks up the side of a building. And Bowen's like, what the fuck? I just had to climb up here. Like, that's
Mhm.
definitely cheating.
I don't think it's cheating. If
No,
she
it's not
has
cheating.
if she has the
Just-
resources.
Euphemia could do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not cheating at all, but like it's using whatever resources you have, right?
Mhm.
But
At the moment, he saw it as cheating.
yeah, because he was like, what the fuck?
He's
You know how-
Shelly. That's all.
He's like, you know how long it
He's
took me
Shelly.
to like learn how to climb and shit? And so then they kind of made their way over to the temple / portal area because it's kind of all connected due to it being, that goddess Valentina. And upon trying to come down, he doesn't do it very successfully, or he did do it very successfully because he came down fast.
On his butt, yes.
On his butt. It's all a matter of perspective, right?
Right.
It wasn't just his cheeks that got bruised.
Oh my, no, it was his pride. He was a different shade of red at that point. So then they go into the temple and have a chat with one of the, was she like a priestess or?
Priestess, yeah.
Yeah, so like a priestess of Valentina, the goddess of doors and portals and such. And they got to learn a bit from that and actually hear it from somebody a bit more official, right? Like everything so far has been like, well, this is kind of what I know about her, or this is kind of what I know about her, but this was like straight from the source, which was cool.
Mhm.
But Warren still has no idea what to do with it. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's still like part of him because he needs to know. This lack of knowledge is driving him crazy. But also, he hasn't been having nightmares for a while. So then that's also bringing up more questions. Like, where did the nightmares go?
It's like, thank fuck, but also, what the hell? Why
Right.
have I gone now?
It's like he got like prescribed some medication.
I mean, think about it, like nobody's really been having dreams. And of course, if you guys had dreams, either one, you forgot, which that's bad on you guys. Two, they're more calm or, whatever. Or three, you guys don't want to share with each other, which whatever.
I don't know these people. No, I'm kidding.
I've only been with them for 3+ months.
3+ months, yeah. That's enough of a probation period where you're permanent. But yeah, so after that, we head back to the room.
And trying to.
The monkey made us a bunch of money.
Yep.
Nanu 2.0.
I mean, the monkey got jobs.
Yeah. We still
monkey's
haven't
learning.
named the monkey, have we?
No.
Nope. The monkey's monkey right now.
Call him Victor Jr.
Because, like...
Oh my god. She might do something to you.
Well, like, I think it's just said whoever the monkey grows attached to. I don't think the monkey's really gotten attached to really anybody yet.
Nah, he's
No,
been
I
keeping
mean the
busy.
monkey's. It's a she. The monkey.
Oh, I thought it was a he this whole time.
Nah, I don't know. It's a she.
It's a she now.
Officially, the monkey's a she.
All right, all right.
So we'll hear how many times people call him he. No, I mean she's there, lingering around. It's the same thing of like, this past episode. Where's the monkey? The monkey's been there, just kind of chilling, just keeping an eye out. So I haven't made a token for it because anytime I try to do something with the AI, it comes out scary.
One of us is gonna have to draw something special.
Yeah, I wonder.
You guys have time. Type in undead monkey and see what happens.
Oh goodness. I'm afraid.
But yeah, no, it's creepy. They're creepy. I had to stop.
So we gathered all our shit. We
got all our winter gear too.
All our winter gear. We negotiated for a better price. I mean, it was like, I don't know, 5% off, but it helped. And we got ready. I keep imagining like Vorn like super cold and annoyed. I don't think Brick likes the new environment that we're in at all.
Actually, I forgot to mention. Should I mention it now or should I mention it Sunday?
Mention it now. If
Now.
Past.
Okay. And actually, it's going to be between you two.
Oh.
For some odd reason, here's a little play right now. For some odd reason, both of you don't feel as cold.
Oh.
That's it.
Nice.
Interesting.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I can play it off like I just haven't noticed. Because normally I wouldn't notice because I hate the code, but interesting.
Yep, and it's funny because you haven't really mentioned it.
Right, I haven't.
During
so
that
it makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, I just put it up to as like Euphemia sort of used the cold. It's not as cold as Dark Harbor, but it does get cold during the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, Euphemia is like even the clothing you guys have on, like head to toe, whatever. It's comfortable. You don't feel that chilling. If somebody's next to you, all of a sudden they shiver, you don't need to shiver until I say so. But yeah, no, right now you guys are just comfortable.
Interesting. So after we did all the random ass jobs that we all made some money, Euphemia did some performing and stuff like that, and got a bunch of tips. What was that?
I said I made bank.
Made bank, yeah. Voren checked in at the docks a couple of times and made some money, as well as like deliveries across town since he can easily get around. And Victor, which I thought was really cool, did like magical stuff for people, which just
that was really creative.
Yeah, it was. It ended up just being like a freaking mending marathon. People needing things to fix, which is like awesome when you really think about it, right? Because there's only certain things that can be done outside of magic, and if it's not good enough, people will want a different solution. So I like that was an option. Magpie did some deliveries as well. She can get around the city easily. And what did Minerva do?
She did. I was gonna say the hospital, but that's not.
That was.
Oh yeah, she
I would say
helped people.
Yeah, like helped. I think she also between her and Nyx kind of helped with the elderly. If anybody came in. I mean, there would have been like kind of like a place where like a nurse's area kind of thing, healing. That she
Yeah.
helped with that.
So for them, it was less of like getting paid and more of like getting tipped and thanked.
Yeah. I know like Nick's he got paid, but he also got stuff
Given things.
because because it's like elderly people and he did help out. So
Plus, it's Nick's. Like he would take any random shit,
yep, I think he got like a box of chocolate.
which I love that.
I think the thing that I thought was like the weather. Was it Weathers candies like the
Oh yeah,
you know yeah. That's the thing that popped in my head. But
So
yeah.
we all made some extra gold, which was great because we spent a lot of money on our new clothing, and then we took off the next day.
Mhm.
And so we went back to the portals, and that
Mhm.
wasn't cheap either.
Nope.
I
14
was
per
I was
person.
I was expecting it to be more.
Me too.
Personally.
If I'm being honest, me too.
Well, you got to think about it. It's on the same continent.
Yeah,
Right.
I figured as much. It's going to be more like, say, if we
Mhm.
get the port by time we're done and come back to Feilu and they get the portals up and running for outside of Feilu, that's
Mhm.
probably when it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, because it's like
Yes.
right now it's like Feilu.
It's like national and international.
Yeah, it's like in different places they might definitely cost less, more, whatever. But with Feilu, because the place basically got destroyed, the stuff that you guys would definitely know, there's like a certain kind of like ether crystals or mana crystals that are centered in this place, and it got destroyed, and that takes a lot of time. That's why it took like 3 months. It could have taken a lot longer. But you know, somebody probably had some good things and they got a good shipment in and had to put all that back together. So in a way, it's like they need to pay that out, or they need to, you know, get at least get that money back into the city, basically. So
Yeah, 'cause
14 goes not bad.
I know at some point once those portals are open to going outside of Feilu,
Mhm.
Euphemia wants to go home, and so she can be more prepared because she knows that her family's got the material, got the resources.
And
Mhm.
she's got to introduce
Especially
her
for the
boyfriend to her
portals.
family. So
There's
Before we're getting to that.
so, yeah, it's a
But yeah,
meet the
it's
parents situation.
14. So yeah, they paid their 14 gold uh to travel to Abel. It was quite entertaining for some people using the portal.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Vorn doesn't like portals or traveling magically because he's never had to before. It's always been via ship, or it's been local, or he can get to like with a horse or a cart. So it's just like the magic of it is like, why, I guess. And then he kind of hesitated, and then he got pushed through by Celeste out of all people. And you know what? She's gonna have something to deal with when she least expects it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
how cute!
But anyway, so he got pushed through, and we all went through the portal, and here we are in this shit dump of a town.
The shithole.
Yes.
God, I hate this place.
Well, I mean, during that time, Magpie was very uncomfortable too because part of her life was there. But as they did enter, you know, you can see the ocean side. The mountains are further away, but they could still see the snow.
Right.
There's a lot of trees, of course, like thick, like very thick trees. And yeah, it's cold, it's grim. They could definitely see the fog coming in, even though it was like I think by the time they arrived, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Just those black clouds not swarming, but coming in. And in this town, the monks, they see like a glowing or golden glowing tree, which it's very odd. It's like something that shouldn't have been there, but it's there.
Yeah, the tree thing's kind of cool. There's questions about it, and Victor was wondering as well. One thing that I was thinking about OOC was like how we're all talking shit about this town, and this is where Magpie's from. Like, none of us are holding back. We hate this place.
I think she knows that this was a shithole. That's probably why she left.
Yeah.
To be
I don't
honest.
think she's ever gonna defend it, and she hasn't. She's also said or layered on top of all the things that we've been saying. But anyway, our first task was find somewhere to stay, and so we did.
Yep, and the Broken Barrel.
Boy, that name should have been a sign.
That should have been the first clue. Yeah.
It's a creative name. But we went in there. We paid what was it? 2 gold per room.
2 gold per room.
I think he paid 5. Did he end up paying 5? So he got a gold discount.
5. Yep.
Which should have been more, but we didn't know that yet. We get 3 rooms, which we probably could have just done with 2, but that's another.
I mean, this is for future reference of you guys. You guys are a 7, and it depends on who wants a pile and what, so or save on money.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of like 6.5 when you really think about it.
True.
Yeah, 'cause fucking Vix can
6
come out.
1/3. Yeah. And so we split some rooms. Initially, Voren was like, "Victor, I'll go with you," because he wanted to talk shit with Victor. And then we didn't even get that far, because as soon as we walked into the room, it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. You know how that, I don't know if you all seen that scene, and I think it was Daddy Daycare. How Eddie Murphy went into the room and opened it, and also you just see his face kind of like, look.
Oh my god.
That's how I pictured everybody. Yeah. I mean, it was disgusting. It was like, yeah.
Yeah. If I could picture a nightmare scenario for Voren, this was it. Like, not only was the place described by as like just raggedy and kind of broken down and whatever, but it she said it was dirty and all this stuff, and it's just like, what the fuck? Voren was getting anxiety. He wanted to like fix everything, but he can't fix what is unfixable. And he can't clean any of that shit up, or rearrange it. So he was like, "I'm leaving," and he just left. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's like also like with Minerva and Magpie. It's like this. It's disgusting. And Celeste was grouped up with your family, and the first thing's just like, I'm going to use scroll for this. And by the time he opened the door, started walking out, she opened the door and be like, no.
Nope. Just no.
Well,
I could just imagine,
I'm using
like,
a scroll.
if it was like a movie or like an animated series, I could just imagine us like walking into the rooms and instantly walking back out. Nope.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, it's like even to the point where it's like, I don't think anybody wanted to set anything down. Like,
no,
I could just picture Slushy just holding. Yeah, it's like I could just picture Slushy just holding the egg. Just like, no, you're not touching this either. But yeah, no, she popped open a thing, and everybody piled into one room, and the door wasn't even, or the lock wasn't even working.
And keep in mind that Celeste has the ability of instantly cleaning something up. But this
Yeah,
was too far.
It would
That's
take
too much.
so fucking long
yeah,
to use prestidigitation on that room. Just that
Yeah.
room itself.
yeah. And so between her and Victor, they secured the front door. She did have a what is it called? Immovable rod, which Victor was actually excited to see because he says, where'd you get this? She's always had it.
Yeah, Lauren wants
She's
it.
always had it. Yep. Which yes, she does it. She did get it back. So, yeah, so they actually end up in a very nice, like a cave side, mountainside little place that had like waterfalls and like a hot spring and built in into the mountain the rooms and stuff. So it was a
In
nice
which
little
Brick
yeah.
instantly stripped down and jumped in the spring to wash the ick off of him. He wasn't even dirty. It was just more of like a mental thing.
Mhm.
He needed to just be in the clean spring and just kind of stood there.
Mhm. Yeah, so they had a nice relaxing first night besides being, on the outside.
Just a tent inside of a room. It's
Mm.
it's so fucking hilarious. Only shit that happens in D&D. When you rent a room.
Mhm.
What was that?
At least I know once those scrolls run out, we're gonna be kind of fucked. But I'm hoping that I'll have a certain spell that
Oh, I'm
will.
keeping track on how many scrolls at the moment. Seriously.
Yeah, it's gonna be sad.
Because like I don't know, I can't remember the name of the spell is off the top of my head, but it's
It's
basically
a
like
mansion.
the chateau. I want to have a
Mhm.
chateau.
Oh man. So we did that. We woke up and got ready to go. We agreed to wake up at first light and get going. So we got a cart, a horse. A couple horses, right?
Well, during the conversation before, it was you guys wanting to find some silver,
Mm-hmm.
and any information on werewolves about. So you guys kind of split the party for the first time, even though it's in a random city ish.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
you
think
had
we
some
find
people went to
comfort in knowing
blacksmiths.
that Victor can easily communicate with anybody.
Hmm
He's like he holds our cell phone, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, everybody split up. Victor will keep us together somehow.
Yeah. So there was nothing at the blacksmiths. No information on werewolves. The other side got a horse and a cart that can carry everybody, and they just kind of like lingered to like wait another hour. So the man offered like I think it was like 2 more gold just to put like a tarp or thing on top.
Which was good.
The
Came
the
in handy.
horse's name is Malvin, and they explored the light temple just to ask. Um, Actually, yeah, what was the conversation? Because you guys didn't. Oh no, you asked if they had silver, right? But then
Yes.
you
Yeah,
guys
like a
didn't take the
silver
silver.
powder.
So they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
silver powder. They didn't have any weapons available or like pre-made
Yeah.
or anything.
And we would
Oh, yeah.
have to have waited 2 more days
Yeah.
to get silvered weapons.
And none of us wanted to do that. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
some
No
of
one wanted to
us.
stay.
Yeah. So, but after that, you guys went, got the cart, and made Minerva drive, which she had a very good role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
So
doesn't know
she
it.
became
Like
the driver.
she didn't know it, but that's part of her character now. She's the driver.
Mhm.
Which is power
So,
gaming, Nikki. It's like,
yeah.
Nikki, you're always eating and you drive carts. Like that's something that's now part of your character.
But yeah, so you guys took your first drive, and even though it was late in the evening, I would say probably around 5-ish. So being like a couple hours on the road, maybe 3 or 4 depending. But guys found a spot for your first night. It poured, and then on your way there, the cart broke because somebody rolled bad.
A
Um,
lot of the rolls are bad.
they were bad. So I think it was a natural one. So the wheel broke, but
Yeah,
between
that was a 3.
so between Victor and who else? Oh, it was Minerva because they both can do it. They cut the time in
Mhm.
half. But then they added like another, I think it was like another 5 minutes or something like that because Magpie spotted another crack, which that was good, and helped mend that while Vorn kind of kept an eye out, you know. Then end of the day, set up tent. The next day, somebody rolled a 3. Um, so so yeah, so you're technically your second day, just this eerie fog kind of set in. And during that time, Laura just kind of popped up and started talking to Euphemia, saying it just feels odd, feels weird. The trees are not natural. While Minerva and Warren up front, seeing the fog, trying to, I just imagine it, being slower in the cart,
Mhm.
because fog is thick and you don't know the roads. But there was a flash of light, and then it went back to Euphemia and Laura, and during that scene or during that time, Laura like stopped and actually went into the woods and saying that there's a cave, that there's something there, and it just feels eerie, and um, that set up something.
Yeah. So I mean,
Oh boy, the emotional damage.
we decide to go in, and I think we did it very or as smart as we could, um,
Mhm.
by kind of splitting our efforts. Because you never know, right? In situations like this, anybody could sneak up, or we'd end up losing the cart or something somehow. So
Mhm.
we have to try to take precautions, which I feel like our group is really good about. Like thinking of the best way to do certain things, um, which is good. um, but we end up making it to the cave, and we follow Spelcy's character Euphemia, and
Into the creepy cave.
it wasn't good times.
Mhm.
There wasn't a party. There wasn't like a
No.
buffet waiting for us. There was one waiting for Victor. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it definitely would have been one for Victor.
So
But yeah.
we go into the cave. We make it through, which was incredibly dark and weird to get through. But when we make it through, did we end up seeing the bitch, or did we only hear her?
You guys heard her, and because how everybody was moving their tokens, Euphemia saw like almost kind of like a flash of light or something, like I would say like a spark, and then nothing. So it was like almost like because being transported out. But
Gotcha.
then when she got closer, that's where they saw the body.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, canonically, what would have happened if we would have waited those couple of days, you know? Um,
Mhm.
instead of going through. Like I mean I understand the way that DnD works, right? Like us going through there probably triggered the DM, but I'm wondering how it would have affected certain things and or us even mentally, right? Like if we took a couple of
Mhm.
days, it could have fucked us mentally, thinking about like we probably wouldn't have made
Mhm.
it. But yeah, so we ended up seeing a bunch of bodies that were very recently sacrificed.
Mhm. There was a dagger to the heart, and there was blood everywhere. And I think somebody mentioned, you know, basically they were wrapped up, but there was a cloth over the people's faces, and then they started to remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one they spot was the father of Timmy, the one, the bandit, the young
Mm-hmm.
bandit. Um,
Sarah's
another,
husband.
mhm.
Surface husband.
And then another one was uh, newly mentioned because before they left town, a woman came up to them asking if anybody has seen her daughter, and she mentioned and gave them a sketch. And her name's Elizabella, and the key was, she always has flowers in her hair. And then they spotted Kala, who is the baker's daughter. And immediately, Ceci went into, I guess, a mode, which she actually pulled out a diamond that she had,
Mama mode, you
and
can call it.
She revived Kala
No questions asked.
while, yeah, no questions asked. While Minerva, who had a scroll that Celeste gave her like a while ago, she revived the other young girl. And the young girl was like 15, 16. Kala was, I think, just turned 18. Her birthday was like fairly recent. And then I think there was the mention of, the father, and Celeste pulled out something else that she didn't show, but people that were near her could see that there was a gold chain.
Yeah, she
And
sacrificed something near and dear to her.
yep, and she had to walk away because she was crying. So, but the father, Kala and Isabella are alive, while the others are not. Even during that time, Victor, who was invisible, um, which nobody could see him because they don't know what he's going through, is hesitant, um,
Struggling.
struggling. And even though he's a Dhampir and Dhampirs are definitely different in my world, my realm, he is leaning towards the blood. And so, yes, he is struggling, but he also wants to figure out what this ritual is because it's something new. Um, even like definitely new, maybe could be new to his mother. Um, and also during this time, Magpie, you know, eh, wanted to know, what she could see. Is there anything there? And she saw some skeletons, remains, and some boxes. And she went through the boxes, finding old clothing, very old clothing, some gold. I think she found a couple plat. And then she opened another box, and there was a teddy bear with a letter. And as she read the letter, it was basically sounding like from a mom, to a child. I can't wait to see you. Can't wait to meet you. You'll have this, and something triggered, which it triggered Laura. And during that time, Laura was saying they would never be protected. And then she appeared next to Magpie, and she went through her own, trauma, saying, "Mom, Dad, we need to leave. We need to leave now. The werewolves are coming." the werewolves are coming. And at that point, Laura's hair changed to white as almost like fire surrounds her, and she summons her teddy bear. And her teddy bear is quite big, and he has fire around him.
Yeah, and Euphemia's very surprised because she's never seen Laura do this
Mm-mm.
ever.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, that chain of events was insane. First, like, I don't know, Vorin was super upset because he didn't want to be put in a position where he has to choose who lives and dies. But that wasn't as much of a struggle as it as it appeared to be, because he would always choose a child over an
Mhm.
adult. But still, like, the fact that somebody made us make that decision pisses him off. And he immediately tried to comfort the little girl after she came up, because imagine, right? Like, the mentality that you must be in. But when all that shit happens, it was like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, it was definitely a chain of events, because it's like, you think about it, it's everything's happening within a minute or less than a minute, and that's
Mhm.
to bring somebody up. That certain spell is a minute. So they went from hearing the quote unquote elemental queen saying now to her laughing to her disappearing. That minute started, and it was just thinking mode. It had to do, and so in a way, at the end of what Celeste did to bring back the father, it would been about 5 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then also on
And
top of it, where people are moving about and stuff, and yeah.
yeah, and the whole thing, like I said this a little bit after session, but for the reason why Euphemia wanted to have the father be revived so he could go back home, because at the time, in this over the table kind of thing, with how old the daughter is, Sarah's daughter, I think it was basically about the same, around the same age as when Euphemia and her older brother lost their family.
Mhm.
So she wanted to make sure that that little girl was able to see her dad come home.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of selfish isn't the right word, but like, self-motivated actions that happen because of our own experiences, which is really cool, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's kind of what the role play is for how we all react to certain situations because of who our characters are. And I think that this event, like this situation that happened, if this doesn't get us to talk to each other more, I don't know what the fuck will.
Mhm. I mean, the one thing is there's more to come next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
we're not out of this.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, what?
Euphemia's going to try her damnedest because she does not want anything to happen to Laura. She's very attached to Laura.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
And this is
Laura's like a
yeah,
sister to her now.
Basically, Laura's been protecting Euphemia since she was little. So about the time, I would say she's been like 5 or 6 years old, and she's like 26.
Yeah, imagine.
yeah, and at the moment Laura's going through a trauma, and it's like you guys are now seeing. Well, your family especially, but you guys are seeing all of a sudden like a ghost disappeared, and or spirit disappeared, and all of a sudden now she's changed. She went from this dark haired girl to white hair, and there's fire all around,
Yeah.
and it's like almost like it's her stories being told or telling,
She's
or
a
whatever you want to think
banshee
about.
now. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Oh
good.
boy.
But no, I mean, there's like, if we all start as like as characters talking to each other, there's a lot of shit that needs to be talked about here. I don't know how open Victor is going to be about his struggles during that,
Mhm.
but that needs to be talked about. Like, he needs to talk about that. Celeste's sacrifice, whatever it was, we saw that like moment of, I mean, that split moment of hesitation, because she didn't really even like think about it. She just made the decision. But we saw that it wasn't an easy decision to make, whatever it was. That has to be talked about. Euphemia's dealings with Laura and whatever's happening with Laura right now, that has to be talked about. There's a lot of character development that can be, or character exposition, I should say, that can be talked about and learned moving forward from this event. But it was a rough one, because
Oh yeah.
you can save 3, but 9 people died.
I'm really proud. I think Derpy, aka Nix, was saying something like the storyline's good, and that put a smile on my face. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying my madness.
No, it's been awesome, and like leading up, because there's been so many little nuggets that have led up to here, especially since this connected us back to the Elemental Queen, that whore. Like, now it brought that back up, which we definitely, I don't want to say that we've gotten a bit laxed on it, but like, it's been on the back of our minds, kind of, because it happened a while ago. But she almost killed Celeste. And now this bitch is back. She just killed 9 people that we couldn't save. It's like,
Yep.
my goodness. It's been awesome for sure. Props to you. My non-existing hat goes off to you.
I
Yeah.
tip my hat at thee.
Thank you. It's only the beginning.
Well, trust me, I went through 3 years of this shit before this campaign. I'm
True.
nervous and excited to see what comes next.
True. I mean, I think I would say this: the last campaign, I felt like I hit some spots, but I felt like it was mild. If you look back on like some of the stuff, the memories and stuff, but this one, it's I'm going for darker.
I
And
love me
that's
some good tragedy
I'm loving
storytelling.
this.
Yeah,
yeah,
And
and
I'm loving this.
Yeah, and then that's why I asked if anybody had any fears or anything.
like, phobias or
There's
traumas.
and there's certain things I will draw the line. It's even though everybody says, "Oh yeah, we need to protect the kids." There's a certain thing that I won't go because it's traumatic. But at the same time, I mean, everybody says it. There's D&D, all kinds like Critical Role, even like did something, with kids getting kidnapped and stuff. But I try to I make sure that my players are safe.
There's a fine line.
A safe thought. Yeah. But like I said, it's gonna be dark. So
I am in it, and I have extra characters just in case.
And I'm very curious to how some things are going right now in terms of like Valentina and versus what it is
Right.
later on, especially from the first campaign, since it's set in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very curious to how shit is happening or how it led to that.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
been so many little story branches that have been like introduced that can pay off now, or it can be like exposed now, or it can come back later on. And I think that's for a bigger world and a bigger story, that's awesome, because you never know when you can tie some things back in, and I think that that's really fun.
Exactly. So a great example, and this, especially for M9, you don't know this, but Valentina, in my future, quote unquote, future campaign, I did a cyberpunk. She was definitely a goddess during that time. I had it where all kinds of gods. Think about it, all of them. It doesn't matter what it is or who it was. They're Greek, Roman, anything and everything. There was a mural of missing gods or dead gods. And these gods, you think these gods are kind of walking around? No, these ones walked around. They were there. They had jobs. They had stuff. People still prayed them. So Valentina in that world was a basically she had her own magic shop, a Valentina Wonder Emporium. And how you get through this is through a door. And some of these shops could just be a hole in the wall, but you open it and it's just a grand place. So, yeah, so she owned a shop.
Yeah, that's cool. That is definitely cool.
But yeah, it would be interesting what
And not just that, but
unravels.
something as immediate as we have no fucking idea what's gonna happen with the vampires. Like,
Mhm.
fuck, dude. Warren
Yeah,
is
nah.
terrified. He's trying
I
to pretend he's not.
I'm excited. I'm so fucking excited.
I think you two have only shown concern or said concern. I don't know how the other players are. Especially with like Minerva. I mean, she is. It's her goddess is
Divine.
Selene. Yes, who is the goddess of the moon, but she's the light side, and her sister Mars is dark side. But they, in a way, kind of ties into the werewolf stuff.
Yeah, and that's why Warren asked, right? Because like it makes sense.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure how that's going to come across to like vampires, or if it's gonna be an advantage for us against werewolves, or a disadvantage. Like Warren's freaking out. He doesn't like
Which,
not knowing stuff, and
yeah,
this is a whole different world.
which you found out. I don't know how much she said, but found out that, Selene was once mortal, and she was killed. So the curse happened upon somebody. So that's how
Because
the
of that.
werewolf
Yeah,
curse came. Yep. So yeah, and lichens are not slaves to the moon. They can ship shape at will.
correct.
And there is a family of, hold on, I have to think because it's been a while. I think there's 10, 11, that's the father included, are lichen alphas, I would say. And they are part of the story too, which there'll be more to
Yeah.
come whenever that finds out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited about all that stuff. I
Mhm.
just I hope Victor can keep us safe, man. I know that like there's been
And
times that
he's
he's
nervous.
like,
He said he's nervous.
I know he did. There's times that he gets frustrated and he's like, I want to go home, but I'm like, bro, we need you more than you probably feel right now.
Mhm.
Because you've been outside of your element, but moving forward, all of us are outside of our element. Yeah, like this is no longer home field advantage to us, and it feels fucking awful.
Because, like, for both Euphemia and Victor, we have not been in home field advantage at all.
At all, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's nervous, and he did contact the Duchess, and all she said was good. So,
God.
Yeah, and I know I messaged you on something, Slight, and I'm very excited to what's gonna happen.
I'm so afraid.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Look, I would say this. This is over the table. This is how I think. There's certain things I think out for a long time. I've had this idea, the vampire that's coming up, for months, maybe 3 or 4
Mhm.
months, maybe even. I don't know. I have ideas that come through, and I could have thought of a year ago, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, oh, I'm bringing this back.
Yeah, because
You
it's a
know,
good
I
place
can't
to like
wait.
plug it in.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the one thing is, and I think about it, and then you know how when you think of things, like especially when you create your character, and before, you know, you either if it's D&D or Conan or whatever RP, there's times you improve, times that you think,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
and I keep going, oh yes, I can't wait to show this or say this, because yeah, my imagination goes wild.
The only thing that I will say before we wrap up is that I hope that you don't hold your punches. Like,
Oh.
put us in life or death situations. Because tragedy tells good story.
I'm just gonna say when I message Slight, I'm all for it.
I'm
Oh,
all for it too.
we'll see what next Sunday brings.
I mean, you've already tried to kill me like 5 times, so I don't know why I had to say that.
I don't know either. It wasn't 5 times. Maybe it was 3.
Yeah, I don't think it was 5. It's 3 at least.
Yeah. But
Wait, it was the drowning. What was the second one? I know the Venus flytrap.
yeah.
So it was only 2. Jeez.
I don't know. I'm exaggerating for dramatic purposes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? We kind of left it there. We're dead in the middle of this cave. And
We
we're
got
all
3 people to get them the fuck out.
yeah, and we're all fucking shook right now. So like
Oh yeah.
we have to try to think clearly, keep these people safe, but we have no idea like where we're at right now or what's gonna happen.
Oh, and also what to deal with Laura.
Right. Because we don't even know what's happening with that. That was like on the next episode.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, that was some good stuff. I'm very excited about it. Loving it all. Is there anything else that we may have forgotten, Light, that you want to plug in?
No, I guess that's it. Unless you want to ask any questions real quick, but other than that, no.
No questions except why do you hate us? No, I'm kidding.
I don't think it's hate. I don't think it's hate.
It's a storytelling.
No, I fucking love it. I love it. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us for today. This was the recap for episode 21 and 22, which happened yesterday. So we will see you all for episode 23 on Sunday, 6:30 EST. So
Perfect.
thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll
Thank
see you
you. Have
next
a good
time.
one. Bye.